What is going on, everybody? Brick Builder here, and welcome to a brand new episode of the Minecraft iCraft SMP. And today, what we're gonna be doing is something very cool. We are gonna be beginning our base, like our actual base. So my goal for the season is we have this little place here at spawn. Then I want to have what I'm gonna call my spawn base, and then I'm gonna have another base at some point throughout the season. But this is the first base we're gonna be working on. So we're gonna have a lot of bases, basically, because bases are something I love to build. And I think I have a good idea for this one. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and use it. And it requires a ton of nether brick. So this is gonna be taking a lot of resources to do. But if you guys do enjoy this idea, make sure to let me know and I'll definitely keep going on it. But part of the reason that I'm able to do this project is because JSM and Creations, two of my really good friends on the iCraft server, have been mining out the nether hub, so they get tons of netherrack since we're gonna be putting it down at, like, I believe it's Y14 or something like that. So they said I could just go ahead and have all their nether rack and I'll turn it into brick and all that stuff. But the plan for this build is gonna be very cool because I've wanted to build a castle for so long, but regular castles are just, you know, they've been done before, and I really want to do something different. And so my idea of doing something different was to do a nether fire lava based castle. I feel like it'd be very cool, so we're gonna go ahead and do something like that. And we want to do something that's semi-large scale but still obtainable. So we're gonna go 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9. So it's gonna be 9 there, and we're gonna go 1 2, we're gonna add another 2. And then from here, we're gonna go 1 2. It's gonna be very massive. This thing is definitely gonna be huge. And then 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13. And it's gonna be like this. It's gonna be a very big base, as you can already tell. But this is just such a good place to put it. Like, this location is great for us. And it's gonna be like one of those quad tower designs that you know and love, you know what I mean, where it's like the big pieces in the center and then you've got the quad around it, which is gonna be cool, quite cool. 1 2 3 4, and then we're good. All right, that's just gonna be a cool thing that, you know, it's gonna have the 4 towers and the center location. It's gonna work pretty good for what we're going for, and I think it's just gonna be very cool. And it's gonna use up a ton of nether brick, but that's all right, we can afford it. And this is a perfect shape, correct? Let me just check before we mess this up. That is going to be the shape of our main area on the tower. And I think even instead of doing the 4 towers on the side, I think just because I don't want this project to take us super long, I want this to be kind of like an early project that we tackle. I just think it'd be kind of cool to have near spawn as like a bigger base. So what we're going to be doing is the nether castle is going to just have 2 towers on the edge instead of the original plan 4. And I think that'll work out okay. This thing is not going to be done in today's episode, but we're going to be planning out the core of it, which is good because you need to get that foundation on if you're going to do the rest of it. You know what I mean? You can't finish up a base without the foundation. So then we're going to go like this, like that, and like that. If I recall correctly, I believe that is right. And putting it in this area here of the world, I might do some modification of the terrain. I might not. I'm not sure yet what I want to do as far as all the details. So of course, if you guys have any ideas for the nether castle, please let me know, because I think it'll be a very cool project that we can work on. But we're not going to exclusively work on it, because I know you guys are going to want to see other projects as well be worked on. And then not here, this is the wrong side of the castle, but in the back we're going to have another tower in the back, and this one's going to be pretty big. This one is going to be out 4 blocks, because that's going to be the right size we want it to be. 1 2 3 4, and then it's going to be like that. Wait, what the heck did I do wrong? Did I not place something properly here? That goes like that, that goes like that, that one goes, there we go. Now we have it much better right there. I need a little bit of this dirt over here. We can just, you know, take a tiny bit of that to start filling in this massive hole over here. I mean, it's not going to be enough to completely fill in the hole, but as long as we get closer to it being full. My bed is not in the under chest, it's just on my little person there. That's okay, but we're going to be doing a pretty cool plan in today's episode, getting out the, you know, overall design of the place. That's kind of our goal. So we're going to go like this, and then And the next thing we got to figure out is height of this main area. I'm thinking 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it's gonna be 8 blocks high, and then the towers will be much higher than that. But I think that having something this tall is pretty cool, and it's like a good height where it's not impossible for us to actually be able to build this height, but it's very good. It's like it's an obtainable height, you know what I mean? And then the towers on the side will be a little bit taller, and we're gonna have this thing have lots of dark reds. Hopefully we'll get some blacks in there. I just want to get some crisp different colors in here, you know what I mean? Gotta give it a little bit of an evil feel, because as we all know, I'm the most evil iCrafter ever. That's not true in the slightest, but I mean, we're gonna play the evildoer, you know what I mean? It's always more fun to play the villain. So we're gonna play the villain right now by making our awesome lava base castle thing, and we're just gonna see how it goes. But we're gonna have a very cool design for this, because as you can already tell, it's pretty crazy. Like, look at the sheer like quantity of nether brick we're gonna be using on this thing. And I did initially consider making this be my like main base for the whole season, but then I decided that it'd be cooler to do early on while we still, you know, have an easily obtainable resource. And then of course, as we come up with ideas, we can make new bases in the world and stuff, you know what I mean? So for now, I'm happy with this, but someday we might end up moving on to a new one. But either way, my castle is still gonna be my baby. My castle right here will be a great starting point. But today, as we build this, we're gonna talk a little bit about what it takes to plan a build and what really should go into it. So I have yet to actually figure out the build palette of this, like block for block, but I do have the basic idea down, which is we're going for reds, blacks, and that's sort of the like for colors. So that's definitely the first thing you want to do. It's important that your color for your build is kind of figured out early on, especially because if you're not doing something like me where it's just a one-off base, you got to make sure the color is consistent, because consistency is key when you're making these bases, you know what I mean? You don't want the color of the base, the town, the castle, whatever it is, to constantly change colors unless the theme is that there isn't a color pattern, or that there's no actual like rhythmic system for the coloring, because the color is very crucial, you know what I mean? It's one of the things that you notice right off the bat. You notice the color, it's just like a key prominent detail, so you want to make sure that the color is something you're happy with, because changing that later on will not be very easy to do. And it's just probably not worth it after you've had a large chunk of your build being made. Next thing that you definitely need to figure out, and we're figuring this one out now, is scale. Scale is very important. You got to make sure you know what sort of height you're looking for with your build, which for me is going to be a pretty high-ish height, because I want it to be a very tall and very prominent build. Like, I want you to be able to see this thing kind of if you just start walking towards the edge of spawn. I want this to be like a thing that people look at and they get excited over, you know what I mean? Like, that's just a cool little design that I think can be very nice to have. Just mixed in, just have, you know, in between the spawn and the rest of the world, have my castle, which is guarding the gateways outward to the wilderness or whatever it so be. But the scale is definitely important. Now, this one might not be super important to some players of Minecraft. It really depends on your personal taste here, whether or not this one matters to you. What did I do something wrong over here? This does not. Does this get built up? What did I do? This one here doesn't get built up, I believe, because that is definitely, although it might get built up at some point. And then over here, we didn't build up the other one. Okay, that's good to know. We definitely want to fix that. I really want to make the symmetric areas for now, just so it's easy to keep track of. But next one, this might not be super important to some Minecrafters. For other people, it's very important. Story. If your build's going to have a story, or you want to figure it out now. See, I'm playing on a multiplayer world, so the story isn't super important in this. But whenever I make survival worlds, like in my past survival series, like Super Survival and the like, you always want to have some sort of lore. In my opinion, I always go for some sort of lore or story or reason for stuff, because I feel like it's the best way to know what to add. You know what I mean? Like, if you start thinking like, okay, now this town, the people in this town have residential houses. Now how are they going to get food? Now how are they going to make shops, etc., all that sort of thing? Like, what are they going to manufacture, etc. That sort of like questioning almost helps you know what to build next if you're out of ideas, which is something I like. And planning a build is pretty important, but one thing to note is don't over plan. In my personal opinion, the more like over planning can ruin builds. Like it's gonna make you get tired of building the same build if it's too organized. Like you want it to have some sort of idea, and this is how much netherrack I have left right now. But you don't want it to have too much of an idea to the point where it gets kind of tedious to just do a little project on your build. And I see the thing in the distance already. I might try to make it a little bit more obvious. I'm not really sure yet if I want my lava nether castle, which needs a name, so if you guys have a name, let me know down in the comments. But I'm not sure if I want to make it more prominent or not. But scale is important, color is important, and story is important. Those are kind of the three main things to take into effect when you're building. I just think it's very important to have that sort of like analytical side to it without making it like overly excessive, because sometimes less is more. Like with planning, I think you get a better product if you plan, but if you over plan, you'll get a reduced like effect for the most part. Although there are people who can pull off planning, I'm just not one of those people. So in my opinion, over planning doesn't work for me. So that's why I don't recommend other people doing it, because I don't know, if it doesn't work for me, it might not work for other people. But I don't know. All right, next we're gonna throw like these little details in here, like bringing this up. Actually, we're not even gonna worry about the little details yet. We're gonna do those in another episode, so we're gonna leave those out of the way for now. But we're gonna get these areas that we want. What is this? Is this supposed to be filled in? Yes, it is. Why is this one not filled in? All right, we're gonna fill this in, no problem though. There we go. Right, because those are filled in there. Yes. All right, now towers. So we gotta highlight the tower areas of the fort here, so we know what's being raised higher. This is one, and this back tower is going to be the tallest of them all, because I want that one to be very noticeable. And then over here we're gonna have one of these raised, and we've got one over on this side as well. So we're gonna have a tri-tower design, which in my opinion is a little bit more interesting because the composition of the build just is gonna be a little bit easier. And we're gonna go 4 additional blocks here. Plus we gotta remember we are going to have a sort of roof or something on these. I don't know what it's gonna be yet, but we'll figure it out once we get there. Probably something, because we do need to add more color to this, so it's not just a giant heap of nether brick. Although not that the nether brick looks bad, it's just we need to have some variety in the actual block palette here. This is not being raised at all. This is not part of the tower. There we go. But now we're gonna do the same thing over here. We go up, let me just remake sure. We go up 1, 2, 3, 4. Yes, so it's gonna actually be 5 higher because we also have the one initial place here. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we're gonna have a very nice high tower here, and then the back is going to have a massively tall tower. But so remember, story is important, because if you have a story, it's just going to keep you with the like ideas flowing, the energy in your brain and just flowing and going, which is important when you build. You don't want to run out of ideas. Next, this tower here, we're going up 7 blocks, I believe, is the idea. I'm going to go with actually that many blocks. I want this to be the tallest section of the actual build, so I think that doing this height will make that very noticeable, which is crucial, because this back part here, like this, needs to be the noticeable section of the castle. But planning is important, but don't over plan. Key thing to keep track of. You want to plan, but like I hardly ever write things down on paper. For me personally, I'll either draw it out or just use my like imagination and like use my brain to kind of keep track of what I'm going for. You know what I mean? Also, I do like, I'll record, since I'm a YouTuber, of course, I'll record me work like saying my idea or something. Sometimes that works for me, like on a voice memo or even on like OBS or whatever. And that works for me because then I can access it later and that sort of thing, which works for me, but might not work for everybody if you're not a YouTube creator. But that works for me. And then a story is important because it keeps your like ideas flowing. I find that the more planning you do, the worst, but some people might tell you otherwise, and they could be right. A lot of builders do plan a lot and it could work. And now we're just gonna add a few small details in, but color is important. Know your block palette, or at least what general color you're going for. You don't have to know exactly what you're doing, but as long as you have some idea, like having at least a little bit of an idea is better than having none at all. So I strongly recommend having at least a basic plan in place for what you're gonna do. even if it's very simple and, you know, very rudimentary. Having a little plan is better than having no plan by far. So if you have the time to make that plan and you have that ability, definitely go for it. Planning is crucial. It helps you prevent so many mistakes and like stuff that could happen if you weren't more careful. So it'll help reassure that certain things don't go wrong, which is very good because you do not want things to go wrong if it can be avoided. So that is definitely good. And we're just gonna go ahead and add a few little small details in areas. I think that this will work out okay. I don't really want too many small details added in this episode since we're going to do more work on this in another episode, but I just want to take a quick little peek from the distance what this looks like so far as design goes. I think it'll look pretty good. It's got a good shape, got good composition, good structure to it. The plan is definitely coming into fruition right now. And from here, it looks good. It's not completed yet though, but you'll see the finished product. And I think you guys will enjoy my lava castle once it's all done. It's not the traditional stone castle. Nothing wrong with those. I just wanted to do something different. So my idea was to, you know, netherify it in the overworld, of course, because nobody's gonna go in the nether for my base. It looks pretty good from a distance. I like it. I think that has a good shape. It's good size. Like, it's not taking up this entire plot, but it'll work for my individual need as far as a spawn base goes. That's not this spawn base here. But if you guys did enjoy me talking a bit about what goes into planning a build and how I'm pretty much designing my spawn base, then make sure to hit that like button and subscribe. Let me know how you plan out your builds, if you plan them out at all, if you don't. And yeah, that'll be it. If you guys enjoyed today's iCraft episode, I would very much appreciate a rating, but I'll see you in another episode. Thanks so much for watching, and I bid you all farewell.